All right, my good people. Let me get to this video and just get right to it. So, I was looking for ratings, and I wanted to see the ratings for a reason specifically. I looked at TNA's ratings, and their ratings are still the same. And TNA went from getting they get like 70,000. They've been getting like 60,000 viewers, so they dropped. Okay. Um, I looked at their subscription, and their subscription is not moving. They've had the same amount of fucking subscribers for like 3 years now. They're not growing. I looked at Explosion, TNA Explosion, and the majority of people don't stick around to watch Explosion. So that building is like 75% empty during Explosion tapings. So I looked and said, okay, their ratings are down, and it's hovering around the same, but they're not going up at all. Their monthly subscription, TNA Plus, is at a standstill, and nobody's really sticking around for their Explosion tapings. And not only that, but their pay-per-view numbers aren't increasing. For all of you, I love this new NXTNA bullshit, right? Where are you guys at? Because if you so-called love TNA so much, you guys aren't showing support. So that leads me to understand and know. The reason that you know what's happening in TNA is because you watch highlights. That's a strong but weak point of TNA. Why? You don't, because they don't give you the whole show. So you're watching the highlights. That's what you guys are doing. And then you're just going off what the highlights show you, and you're running your mouths in the comment sections, and then but you're not supporting TNA. You're not watching TNA. You don't want that monthly subscription. You don't like them enough to have a monthly subscription to watch TNA Plus. You don't like them enough to buy their fucking pay-per-views. And you have no fucking interest in what they're doing outside of TNA's involvement, NXT's involvement, which basically is much of nothing but a bunch of random fucking matches. Yet you're the same fucking people that sit talk about how AEW don't have storylines, which is a crock of shit. But you're the ones that sit up here and say that, but then you turn around and you're watching TNA and NXT. You'll watch TNA invade NXT when you're watching NXT, but you'll watch whatever happens as far as NXT invading TNA on highlights. So when you watch highlights, okay, cool, but you're not supporting TNA. So how much do you really care? Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. You guys are so full of shit. TNA, it's hard to watch this shit, man. I really, out of everything that's happened with TNA, now I read an article the other day. TNA is going to start banning blood. They don't want blood anymore. They want people to inform if you're going to slap a person. Like if a wrestler's going to slap somebody. Okay, cool. I think you should. So you don't fuck around and burst somebody's eardrum like little fucking rap dude did to Cody Rhodes, whatever. But bottom line is, because I think any of this shit should be done to where it's all choreographed. So because somebody slapped the fuck out you might just wind up beating their ass for real. Like, you understand what I mean? So, but they want to stop the bleeding. They want to, all this. Why are they stopping bleeding? Why? They're trying to be child friendly like the WWE. Wow. I think that this is WWE calling shots on TNA. Because for them to be a so-called crowd-friendly, a child-friendly program, then they want TNA to be the same. And because they know that the WWE is not even benefiting from this whole merger with TNA bullshit. It's like, okay, they know that. They know that between the two, they don't need TNA for shit. And TNA is walking around, like I said, like they're last in the race. That's their mentality. They're a little small tinker toy bullshit company that have no fucking backbone, and that's why PCO called them out, and that's why he threw their belt in the garbage. And like he said, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're a trash ass company. And it might sound harsh, and people that would say, "Oh, PCO just mad at what? Mad at what? Mad at the bullshit that they're doing." And look at what they're doing now. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting there watching, and I said, man, I'm watching Harley Hudson, I'm watching Myla Grace, I'm watching the women's. I just sat there and I said, you know what, man? Because I can show you my collection, man. I used to buy all their pay-per-views, and when they were having on DVDs and all that, TNA got to the point, man, where once they went to Access TV, I wasn't able to really watch a full show anymore. And I'm not going to go try to find where I can get Access TV just to watch this bullshit. I know that they have certain streaming apps that they come on. That I honestly, guys, TNA look desperate right now, man. TNA is like that man that will sit and watch somebody screw his wife and just, and hold her hand the whole time watching, hoping that she's feeling good, but she's not going to leave him. So, like, honestly, they just look like some desperate, like, lames right now, man. And like I said last month or whatever, months ago, there's nothing going on in TNA that you care about. It's like all people care about is let me see who's going to invade, TNA this week from NXT. Mike Santana, I told y'all he wasn't going to win. You're going to have Trick Williams go out there and beat Joe Hendry and then lose his very first title match? No. See, TNA, just like before, like in the past, they put their guys in the back seat. They as a company are in the back seat. And I believe that WWE are the ones orchestrating this whole thing. And all of a sudden, no more bleeding. And man, TNA has always stood out for that. And it been, classified different as that. I think TNA has gotten to a point they don't know what else to do. And they feel like the best thing that they can do is try to become a replica of the WWE and just hope that the fans will embrace them. And I watched them sit there. They did Tessa Blanchard, she did a video. She's sitting there showing behind the scenes before their last, I think it's the Under Siege or whatever their last pay-per-view was, putting the ring together and all that, getting the building ready. And she just had a couple of backstage interviews and stuff. And you got wrestlers talking about how they don't even get paid for certain things and how, man, they got to travel and pay for their own hotel, all this shit. What are you trying to get pity for people to watch you? And I'm saying, how is this helping TNA? Man, you guys don't even know what to record. You don't know, like, and I'm just like, wow. And basically, this is Tessa Blanchard did this on her own channel. And she's smiling and talking and everything and whatever. I'm just going to say this about Tessa Blanchard, and I'm not going to dwell on her. I always respected Tessa Blanchard in the ring. I always thought she was solid in the ring. When I started hearing this racist shit, my thing is, we are part of a society now where racist people are like, yeah, so what? I'm racist. I don't care. I don't have to explain myself. And she didn't say that it was true, okay? But she didn't feel the need to explain. You got fans, black, Latino, Indian, whatever. You got people everywhere sitting there watching you. And the fact that you don't feel the need to explain is like, well, fuck you too. That's exactly how people are going to see it. So them having shirts that say, I hate Tessa, and it's like, this is a way for them to try to embrace you. And no, I feel like with Tessa, there's people that just don't like her, period. And I believe the same things I'm saying right now. Yeah, mature-minded people understand that. Like, nah, bitch, you sit up here talking about you didn't say it or whatever, or you just won't even get into it, because I feel like if she starts denying it and start trying to elaborate, then that's going to cause more people to talk. And I think she don't want that to happen, because now she's going to have to prove more that she didn't do these things. Even just to say, listen, guys, I definitely didn't say those things. I'm not a racist person at all. I embrace people. I don't care where you're from. I don't care about any of that. People are people. I just love everybody. I love those who love me. I'm not, bottom line. And it's the fact that she failed to even take it there. Just, she didn't say it, and that's that. Just leave it alone. People going to believe what they want to believe. Right. So for that to be the case, People can say, fuck you. I'm not going to support you. And I wish you wasn't on this card. I'm not here for you. In fact, TNA is as far as like, they're not just losing their audience on TV. They're losing their fucking audience, period, man. TNA is burying themselves. And the thing is, they're clearly losers, man. Clearly, they've waved the white flag, like, okay, WWE, we just, whatever you want us to do, we'll do it. They clearly, and I'm saying, you can go through the history of TNA, barbed wire matches and all this. I mean, Monsters Ball. Like, what happened to TNA pay-per-views? Nah, TNA, we don't want y'all to put a show on and fuck around and people go, damn, this was actually better than what WWE did. What happened? Monsters Ball, King of the Mountain. What happened to these matches? What happened to their what did they call their fucking cage match? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But what happened? What the fuck happened to TNA, man? Their Lethal Lockdown. What happened? There's no excitement going on. All they keep doing every now and then is bring out that bullshit Ultimate X match. You don't fucking have an X division anymore. Your X division champion is a 290 fucking pound dude that loses to fucking jobbers and fucking rookies. Why the fuck is Moose the X division champion? You don't have a division. You know how they treat their X division? Let's get a bunch of dudes, the same fucking dudes every fucking year, bunch of 160-pound motherfuckers, and put them all in the ring at the same time, let them flip and flop all over the place in the crowd. Oh, this is awesome. This is... For what? You can't have a fucking division with like 8 people, man. Then they get some people to come from the independents to come in here and there, work a couple of months for them and shit, whatever, and then disappear after Ultimate X happens. And then it's just the same 8 fucking wrestlers all the time. It's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. You have no people. You have no division. This is why I said they need to either rebuild this X division and rethink it, repackage it, or just fucking get rid of it and explain why they're getting rid of it and then create a new direction for something else going on in TNA. Man, TNA, you guys are pussy. You little bitches, you're soft. I just got to be blunt. And I've stood with you guys. I've been watching your shit from day one. This shit that you're doing now is cringeworthy. It's garbage. It's trash. It's weak. And aside from Harley Hudson, Myla Grace, I don't even know if Danny Luna is still there. And Jody Threat, I don't even know if they're still there. But other than them, man, I really don't give a shit about what's going on in TNA. Simple. I've really just lost complete interest in TNA. The other day, man, me and my son put the game on the 360 and was playing it, the video game. And it's like, man, and my sons was like, damn, what happened to TNA, man? I'm saying the same thing. My sons are 18 and 19 years old. And I'm just sitting there like, wow, yeah, you're right. Like, what happened? It's garbage. I mean, I'm looking at the lineup that they had, looking at the roster, everything, and I'm like, wow, man. Yeah. All of this for what? For what? You know, AEW has a lineup. One event leads to the next. Your Continental Classic, you know, you're going to have your tournament there, and you're going to have it over Collision. You're going to have it over Dynamite. You know, part of a pay-per-view, like the finals would be there. Just like when you had Double or Nothing, and like the finals of the Owen Hart tournament ends up there, and then the winner of the men and the women's is going to All In. Right? AEW, WWE, they have their, you win your Royal Rumble, and then you go on from the Royal Rumble to the Elimination Chamber, winner, WrestleMania. They go on to fight at WrestleMania, right? What does TNA have? Because they used to have a setup. What do they have? They used to have Lethal Lockdown was all cage matches. If they would have even reduced it to one all cage match for a team of men, and one all cage match for a team of women, right? That would even been cool. But the thing is, their system was beef. We're gonna settle this in lethal lockdown. Now, they could have transitioned, and it's not about copying. No, they could have transitioned to where the lockdowns have come down to a 4-on-4, just say it, whatever, or 5 or whatever, elimination style, men and women. Last person standing for the men goes on to Bound for Glory. Last woman standing for the women goes on to Bound for Glory. Fight for the world. You understand? They have no format. They just have pay-per-views. They just have their shows, but it doesn't lead to shit. That's it. We're just going to fight at the pay-per-view. But the pay-per-view doesn't really set up anything to where it's really significant. You understand what I'm saying? So, AEW has like a season. WWE has a season. TNA has no season. They just have events. That's it. Whether pay-per-view or whether it be, Impact or Explosion. But they just have seasons. And then when you watch Explosion is nothing but a bunch of fights that you already seen. And then like the last match will be like the only current match. So there's nothing going on in TNA. They don't understand. They've lost their fucking identity. They've lost their footing. This company, I really, what irritates me about things like this? Doesn't make me mad because it's not happening to me, it's happening to them. It's just the irritating thought in life that it's like watching somebody who has a good head on their shoulders date a crackhead. And they are aware that this person's a crackhead. Do you want these problems? Do you want to have to deal with somebody possibly being in and out of jail, causing police to kick your door open because they're bringing drugs and drug dealers in your house or stealing and all? Do you want these problems? You know ahead of time what could happen. You think just saying some kind words and trying to show them love, change person, right? And then all of a sudden, that reality slap you in the face that nope. Or you come home and this person was supposed to be watching your kid. They were overdosed and dead in the house. All kinds of, do you understand what I'm saying? Like you had to know dealing with this shit. You guys are not calling any shots, man. You're not calling any shots. You want to know, I don't know if this is the case, but I'm going to say this, man. I think Scott D'Amore probably had issues with him because Scott D'Amore probably was willing to put his foot down where they weren't. And this is one of the things, like I said, when I watch Maple Leaf Pro when I can, and I only get to see it on YouTube. But when I see a lot of people that's in AEW, TNA, and other like independents. I don't know who they're actually like. Who's just? I don't think anybody on their roster is just strictly Maple Leaf. But I don't know. But what I'm saying, had somebody who's Maple Leaf is first priority, and in independence and anywhere else is just okay. When I'm not resting here at Maple Leaf, I don't know who those people are. But I will say, for them and for Scott D'Amore, I wish them all the success, man, in the world, and I hope that it grows. They have and with them, I haven't seen a bunch of storyline. I just seen matches, and I see them talking about like the wrestlers talk about the match coming up and things of that nature. No real storyline, whatever. And that I don't know that the Canadian audiences may be different with what they like as professional wrestling. Their crowds are like the size of TNA crowds with at full capacity. But in terms of a TV deal or whatever, I don't know. Like all that stuff, if they have what they got going on, I don't. But I really just, man, when I see stand-up men and women not be appreciated, because I'm one myself. But then you have people that just go with anything. And they think that maybe Scott D'Amore would stunt their growth because he want to put his foot down where they're just like, nope, let them do whatever they want. Because that's exactly what it seems like is happening to me. You cannot tell me that if you like watching TNA, that you watch TNA right now and don't get that cringe feeling inside. I know I do. And when I was watching Harley Hudson and Myla Grace and them, they fought each other. Then they formed a tag team. Now they're fighting against other women. And they lose all the time, but they're sitting there wrestling in front of this half-ass empty building. And I said, it makes me think all the time, like when TNA was getting a 1.4, when they was getting that type of rating, on Spike TV, every time, when wrestling, when TNA Impact was coming on, it wasn't good enough. Oh, they still haven't reached the 3.0 like the WWE. There was always a fucking comparison. There was always a complaint. Nothing was never good enough. When they were able to get 4,500, 5,000 people per show, nope. They still not getting 15,000. They're not selling all of this shit. And the funny thing is, WWE went through that same thing. It didn't go on, even just had a Money in the Bank with a event with a half-empty arena. But they do all of that, right? They did all of that and complaining, and I'm like, these motherfuckers got Sting, they got Scott Steiner, they had Hogan over there, they had Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, they had Kevin Nash, they had Hall, they had X-Pac, they had Rob Van Dam, AJ Styles, Robert Roode, Samoa Joe. They had all these fucking people, man. Awesome Khan, Gail Kim, had the beautiful people. I mean, they had all of these people, man. It's not good enough. They still fail to reach the WWE, and you fools still don't understand. You let history repeat itself. Man, if I'm a fucking professional wrestler, man, I'm doing everything within my power to support AEW. Because I know that the day the WWE decides to throw my contract away like garbage, and I got somewhere else that I can go and still make top dollar and even more. But no, you motherfuckers want to sit there and AEW is where I'll try to go to if Vince cut me, or if WWE cuts me. Then I'll try to go get a deal with them, hope maybe something to be there, But at the same fucking time, man, it's like y'all always do the same thing. I'm not a puppet, man. I've never been an industry guy. So for me to, my dream was to be in the WWE. Man, y'all say the same old bullshit every time, and then look at what happens. Look at what happens. So any company you go to is always, I'm only here because I got fired, or because, I had a choice and I chose WWE, but they turned me down. So now I'm going to come here. Like, bro, we don't need to see wrestlers in AEW just because they got rejected. Now, you wanting out of your contract is something different. I read something with Karrion Kross say he got a contract, but not with WWE. There's something about him doing like some type of audio book or something to that effect. I don't know what's up with Karrion Kross, but I'm going to say this about AEW. If WWE dropped the ball with this guy to where he decides, fuck this, because all they've doing with Karrion Kross is giving him stupid backstage segments and all of that. AEW, you can bring this dude in. He's on a high right now. There's room for him to be a top player, and you guys can do what WWE failed to do. Now, once again, I need to have these conversations so people understand, man, look, we're here to help build and build this company, and we need wrestlers, and wrestlers need us. But all that don't bite the hand that feeds you shit, they have to understand, like, look, I need to know that loyalty is here, because I'm loyal to my wrestlers. And I need for people to understand, if you come here just to earn a check, but then as soon as you get that call from the very company that did nothing but take you in and then bury you, it's not going to be a healthy relationship in the future. Because the same way they fucked you over once, they'll do it again. And we're not some reject company. Let's just take everybody in that WWE no longer wants. You see, and I know Tony Khan gets it. Now look at who he's brought in so far. I forget your man that wrestled over at Japan that came in to help out the Death Riders. Like, people see, I understand what's happening, and Tony gets it, because you see, whenever somebody's released from the WWE and they want to come into an AEW ring and talk about this is professional wrestling. This is the business I got into. So their contract comes up, pew, right back to WWE doing stupid skits and all that. And I look at people like Miro. When Miro Day, he was hot off Miro Day. I look at Miro in the ring. I've never been crazy about Miro, but see, they with these gimmicks and shit, he was over with the WWE audience. In AEW, he didn't do much. I don't know exactly what was going on. Okay, but guys like him and Andre Elolito, whatever he called his fucking self, Andrade, I never really cared for neither one of them motherfuckers. But I understood star power. But at the same time, my point with Miro was it wasn't shit that he did in the ring. It was more of his gimmick, his image, his look. Then they softened him up and he became a little bitch, and then people started to feel bad for him because Bobby Lashley was fucking Lana. Okay, storyline. All right, and shit like that. But it was nothing he really did in the ring. I never saw something special about what he did in the ring. Andrade is better than Miro in the ring. But I just never thought much of him either, man. And them little fucking tight white pants, them black shoes, that little stupid mask and them gloves. It's like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? There was nothing special about this motherfucker. Okay. Now, that all being said, when I look at what's going on right now, and all these releases, why are none of these people going to TNA? You don't think maybe that Vince, I keep saying Vince, WWE is going, hey, man, I mean, it's your business what you do, but, you know, we just released such and such and such and such. I really don't want to see them come to TNA right now because of the partnership we have, and I don't want them in the mix. Now, they don't have any say-so, shouldn't have any say-so over nothing that TNA is doing like that. TNA should be completely, they don't own TNA, but they do own them, meaning they're punking them. You don't think that they're punking these motherfuckers? They're calling the shots. Once again, like I said, you have a fucking company full of veterans, and these fucking veterans are doing nothing but fighting against a bunch of developmental wrestlers and losing, which means it's like a waste of fucking time for somebody like AJ Styles, who's been there before, who was groomed there, all of a sudden to show up there. For somebody from you know, like a Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, what the fuck are they coming to TNA to do? Nobody on that fucking roster is being seen as being good enough to be on SmackDown or Raw because the way they're being used. And all their fucking ring generals, their fucking top guys, who are they? The Hardys, Nick Nemeth. They don't have a bunch of people. They don't have a bunch of names that just ring a bell. Davey Richards, they got guys that can wrestle, but these dudes, they have not gotten exposure or the respect from the wrestling world. TNA fans only. And when you look at where they are, how does TNA grow from here? How? What is anybody in TNA able to secure as far as them getting like a major deal? I mean, can you even get them a Tubi deal? Can they even get a deal on Tubi? What does fucking TNA have that you care about? Nothing. Nothing. So we won't see blood anymore? Huh? I thought this was TNA, total nonstop action. What the fuck is going on in TNA? Man, you guys have lost your footing. I don't know how you got to this fucking point where I don't know who the fuck is calling the shots, man. But that bullshit that Tommy Dreamer said, talking about he's predicting that you guys will sell out a 10,000 seat arena and a 20,000 seat arena, and you strongly feel this. Yeah, that's because you guys knew that you were having this little temporary merger with WWE, and you thought that with the WWE's involvement, that this was going to instantaneously give you guys like overnight notoriety and popularity. Boom, everybody's talking about TNA. Nah, brother. You guys are in a shitty fucking predicament right now. And honestly, the fact that you have 2 shows and one that comes on Access TV, and the other one is just a YouTube show. But nobody sticks around for it hardly. Like I said, 75% of the building is empty when you guys, do your taping for Explosion. Now, that's normal that if a show doesn't have a premium feel, even if it's a premium feel, people got to choose. Like if you're doing SmackDown or Raw in the same building, right? Say Raw is live and SmackDown is taped. Okay, if you got 17,000 people to watch Raw, if it's in the same building, more than likely you're not going to have 17,000 people tuning for SmackDown, to stick around for SmackDown. That's just the way this shit really is, because you're picking and choosing. So either they feel, okay, you know what? I like what SmackDown got on better than Raw, so I want to go to the SmackDown show. Well, now you know what? I want to see the Raw show. And that's how people decide which one do we go. Or you might have people that go to both. But it's very possible. It's more than likely possible. Yeah, that happens often. So, if you got a full house on Raw, you probably got about 2,000 or 3,000 people less on SmackDown. Now, unless you just got enough people coming in that's just going to fill up both shows, but even the ratings show the difference. Because SmackDown is pulling in 1.4, shit like that now. They put 1.8, 1. Whatever it was. They pulling in like lower numbers now, under 2 million viewers. So viewership-wise, and then when the viewership starts to drop too, you're going to notice a difference in the live shows. So this is what I'm saying. That's not impossible, okay? That actually, it happens. The same way, if you're going to choose between Dynamite and Collision. Understand what I'm saying? So if Dynamite is a full house, there's been times Collision was a full house too. But more than likely, Dynamite will have a full house and there'll be a little less people at Collision. It happens. But when your building is 75% empty for every Explosion show, that's what I'm telling you. There's nobody or nothing on your show that people care about. And you know what you're not going to see on Explosion? Or NXT Invasion. And this is the point what I'm telling you. Nobody's really giving a fuck about what TNA has going on without the involvement of NXT. And the fact that, like I told you before, these guys are sitting here chanting NXT on a TNA show is like, wow. But they sometimes do that on TNA as well. Yeah. Fuck that. At the end of the fucking day, man, that's just acknowledgement. I'm talking about somebody, and when they do it, it's like somebody, whoever the TNA, and who was it? Joe Hendry. Jordan Gray was, and Jordan is there now. So I'm saying it was always the same thing. It's more like an acknowledgement when that person is, getting a set of moves off, and that's a face going against a heel. TNA, the heels are getting cheered over the fucking faces. And I told you, motherfucking Joe Hendry is the face. Trick Williams is the bad guy. And they're in there cheering, whoop that Trick. Whoop. I'm like, wow. They turned on Joe Hendry. Start calling him Average Joe. I told you the motherfucker was average. I've been told you that. And this is exactly the shit what I'm saying to you. TNA has no superstars. TNA has nobody that people care about. I want to see this dude. TNA has nobody that anybody believes would be able to go, not fuck SmackDown and Raw, to NXT and win an NXT title and bring it back to TNA. They don't have anybody. And then even if they did, you think that's going to happen with SmackDown or Raw? You think Moose going to go over there and spear the fuck out of Jey Uso and bring the SmackDown title back to TNA? Absolutely not. Brian Myers and all these guys, like, they just have wrestlers that's there, but nobody special. And like somebody said something about stars being built, wrestlers can't. No, bullshit. Because now let me explain this. I watched AEW transform Tony Storm. They transformed Ricochet, Swerve Strickland. Okay, I watched them. This guy Brian Knight has become like an overnight sensation, man. Bandito, like I've watched people come in. Orange Cassidy, I watched these guys come here. Kenny Omega's a star, bro. You guys are crazy. Kenny Omega's a superstar. John Moxley's a superstar. You guys are fucking tripping, man. Like when you say this shit, what I'm talking about as far as building character is the characters are not what they used to be. They went from being superheroes to just heroes. And that's in every company that has them. There's no, like, where are these guys? Like, when I watched ECW, for example, when I saw Taz, I'm like, I like that little motherfucker right there. You know, and I'm picturing Taz, you know, versus Scott Steiner or some shit like that, you know, and who was in WCW at the time. You know, when I saw like Sabu, Rob Van Dam, like different people, so every company, WCW had their heavy hitters, ECW had their heavy hitters, WWE had their heavy hitters. You understand what I'm saying? AEW had their heavy hitters, WWE has their heavy hitters. TNA just have people. There's no fucking body there that you look at and go, this dude is, yeah, the best dude they got is a fucking gimmick that claps his hands and smiles and play a fucking guitar. When Elias was in WWE, they did this whole, they copied that. You know, Joseph, what's his face to do that? What Abyss real name? His name Joseph Park, whatever the fuck his name is. Whatever. Remember Abyss was playing his brother was supposed to be an attorney? And you never saw them at the same time? And they had the one time with some big fat dude stood up at the top of the fucking man and did the shit Abyss does, but he never did anything. Okay, he just showed his face to show that I'm here. Okay, yeah, they was doing that shit first. We knew that was Abyss playing his brother. We knew that shit. We're not stupid. Okay, Elias and Ezekiel, same shit. Okay, that's what that was. He was never major. He was always a mid-card guy that came up short in the big matches. Came out with the tassels on his arm and shit as Ezekiel and all that shit, right? Okay, he's one of the top guys over in TNA. And this is what TNA does. They take mid-card WWE guys that's released, Mustafa Ali, all these guys, that's where he is. And then they go over there and they just wrestle, but they don't stand out. And in fact, if you was a mid-card guy in AEW, in WWE, nobody really see you as, you know, like Nick Nemeth, his brother, Ryan Nemeth. He was a mid-card guy in AEW. And he's over there with his brother, teamed up with Nick, and he's one of the top guys over there. Okay, great. Great. But you have no superstar talent. Okay? The Hardys are well respected. They're no superstars anymore, man. They're well they're respected for what they've done. If they were superstars, then the ratings would be up. If Nick Nemeth was a superstar, the ratings would be up. One thing you got to remember about wrestlers, when you come from a company and there's a bias there, like example, people talk shit about Kenny Omega because they're WWE. Kenny Omega, like talk about he couldn't lace CM Punk boots. Are you stupid, man? Kenny Omega will wrestle circles around that motherfucker. He will outperform that motherfucker in every fucking category. The only fucking thing that you guys can say that he may have an edge over Kenny Omega is running his mouth on that microphone. That's about it. That's not what the fuck I tune in for. That's part of it, but please, man, no. It's not for that type of bullshit that they do. I don't care about any of that shit. Wrestling, hands-on, you fucking crazy. Kenny Omega, CM Punk ain't got shit on no Kenny Omega. If Kenny fucking Omega was announced to show up in WWE, you guys would lose your shit. Oh shit, Kenny Omega. Yeah, right. But as long as he's in AEW, WWE fans don't want to give him that credit. This is what you guys have always done. When Sting was in TNA, you guys said Sting was old, right? As soon as he popped up in WWE, holy shit. Oh, he got the huge, the ovation for Sting was loud as fuck, man. Okay? He had one of the Rock type of ovation. It was like, okay, they know who Sting is. Yeah, they gave it up for Sting, man. And he's in the ring with Triple H. See, WWE fans like to fantasize and pretend something was the first time. I've seen him fight terrorizing before. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you see, you guys, it's one of these things where mentally you want to psych yourself to believe you're watching something real. But I already saw what it was, man. And this is what you guys do. There's nobody left in TNA. Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry. I told you, those are the two guys. Did I not tell you those are the two wrestlers that WWE wanted? Did I not tell you guys that? They wanted those guys. And when Naomi went there, she held her own. They made her, she was the champion, knockouts champion. And She lost to Jordan Grace. That's why when her and Naomi faced off at the Royal Rumble, the crowd was cheering because they when they saw it, because they remembered the friendship and the fact that they was beefing and whatever. But they remembered that because they watch highlights. They don't watch the show live. They only watch the fucking highlights. You know that TNA's YouTube have more subscribers. They might still. I know they have 4 million or something. They have more subscribers than AEW does, right, on YouTube. They don't get even close to the viewership that they get as well, though. And the fact is, they're on nothing major, man. It's only so much shit you can do, man. And like I said, I just watched to see what the product is and what they got going on. And I just haven't liked nothing that TNA has been doing for like the longest time now, man. And I'm telling you, since Jordan Grace left, Masha Slamovich, she just can't do it, man. She just can't do it. They're not booking her right. They're not doing anything for anybody right now. And I just feel disappointed in them in the sense that they look desperate, and they just look like they're just trying to do whatever that they can to mimic WWE. And it's just not working. They authenticity, originality, it's often not respected or appreciated. But for your core fans, it is. And that's where somewhere TNA is getting desperate and they're not understanding what they should be doing. I don't understand how you get to this point and not realize the same things that I'm telling you right now. How they don't realize, man, we lost our footing. We forgot who the fuck we are. Eric Young has to be extremely disappointed and frustrated because when they rebranded and went back from Impact Wrestling to TNA Wrestling and the show being called Impact, he gave this speech to talk about how everybody in that locker room is so dedicated and this and that and whatever. Eric Young has to be disappointed. But him being a team player like he is, I guess he don't want to come out and say he's working for them. I get it. But he has to be frustrated. There's no way that you can watch TNA Impact. There's no way you can watch this shit. Watch any TNA program and not realize like what I'm saying. Like there's no way. Especially if you like me and you was one of those people buying the 99-cent video on pay-per-views and you like day one, there's no way you can't see it. There is no fucking way you can watch this and not realize he's right. That shit has changed. It slipped. And look at their actions. They're so desperate, man. God damn. Like does anybody stand up for anything? You criticize Tony Khan for standing up for his fucking country. Fuck y'all. I respect that motherfucker doing it. You supposed to. What the fuck does TNA stand for? Huh? What does TNA? I don't mean the 3 letters. I'm talking about as a company. What the fuck do they stand for? I really don't understand it. I don't. But I will tell you, they did this to themselves, just like when WWE signed with TKO. Now they $3 billion debt. They've done this to themselves. And like I said, I don't feel sorry for the WWE. Fuck them. They're a bunch of bullies, and they think that their shit don't stink, and their arrogance and their ego. They're trying to block AEW. They're trying to do spiteful shit, and it is what it is. All I'm saying is fuck them. I don't respect that. Okay, but TNA, ever since you've joined with WWE, you thought you were on top of the world. You thought this was gonna instantaneously boost everything about you. They got Tessa Blanchard lying. They got other people lying, telling you how all of a sudden everything with TNA is just sky's the limit now because because of the WWE involvement. You guys have written no stories for no wrestlers in your company that get the imagination of the people, that make the people care, get interested, and want to watch. All you're doing is having random, stupid TNA matches with guys with TNA and NXT people who, what does it mean? And that's why, let me reiterate, I'm going to close this video. When Moose stood in front of Obafemi and said, I waited so long for this day, and I knew that one day this day would come, and I knew this and this and this. And I'm like, so wait a minute, Moose. You are a fucking veteran in this business. And your dream match was with a fucking rookie. Your dream match was with a fucking developmental rookie in Obafemi. That's your dream match. Not Roman Reigns. Not John Cena. Nobody like that. But a rookie. I'm just saying. Not Randy Orton. I mean, damn, AEW respected you enough to give you Kenny Omega. Damn, you got Kenny Omega. Your dream match, though, was against a fucking novice. Come on, bro. I mean, y'all don't understand it. And I had somebody tell me one time, man, TNA, they doing way better than WWE than they was at AEW. No, they really wasn't. You motherfuckers don't understand it. They really wasn't. Now, granted, Kenny Omega won the championship, and then Christian won it back from Kenny Omega. And that was done to where Christian, remember, because he defended it in TNA. And he's a TNA champion. So he was coming out wrestling on their shows. Christian is a ring general, a veteran. Trick Williams has been wrestling 7 fucking years. You know what's crazy, man? You know Jordan Grace is like the same age as Megan Bain, right? 27. I think they're 27 years old. 27, 28. Well, she might be a year older or something like that than Megan Bain. Megan Bain has been wrestling for 7 years. And I've seen the improvements in her. Jordan Grace turned pro in 2012. All right? She's been wrestling pro like 13 fucking years. She's well seasoned. Do you understand my point? And they send her to fucking NXT. This is the type of shit that I be talking about. And you look at the rosters of who is who. TNA fucked up. Y'all dropped the ball. Now, I knew Jordan wasn't going to stick around and stay with you guys. I already knew that. And her reaction from going to the Royal Rumble, like everything, I knew it was a matter. I'm like, these sneaky, slithering snake sons of bitches over here glazing these motherfuckers about Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry, because they're going to take them as soon as their contracts are up. And was I lying? And when Joe's is up, his ass is going to go too. And I really don't know, and I don't care. But this bullshit, these gimmicks, these little silly shit, watering down these wrestlers and you know, it's not doing anything. It's really not doing anything. Let's bring an Iguana Man. Yeah, we'll sell a lot of merchandise with him. All the kids will be sitting out there with iguana fucking little hands and all this little goofy shit. This is what WWE is about. So if you're a guy like a Bryan Danielson, a Kurt Angle, or a Josh Alexander, nope, they don't want you. No, why do you think they treat Chad Gable like he does? That's why I said if you go back and look at that Worlds Collide match against him and Vikingo, you will say, Dan, when's the last time you saw this motherfucker in that type of match? Come on, guys. TNA, you forgot about your fans trying to embrace WWE fans, but WWE fans have no interest in nothing you're doing. Their only interest is whatever NXT men and women are doing on your program, and the fact that you don't understand that, and that you've always pushed your talent to the back to bring in somebody from WWE, just like you pushed Joe Hendry aside and then made fucking Nick Nemeth the champ. Yeah, that's what you guys do, and you don't get it. Your homegrown talent isn't shit. It doesn't matter how big Moose is. It doesn't fucking matter. I watched this fucking guy wrestle little Trey or whatever his name is, Wentz or whatever, the little 150-pound motherfucker. And this motherfucker was getting the best of Moose. I'm like, all that size, all that muscle, all that power, and you in here struggling with a fucking flyweight. Motherfucker like 150 fucking pounds, and you in here fucking flopping all over the ring for this little dude. But yet, you stood toe-to-toe with Obafemi. Got your ass beat, you lost, but bottom line, you guys don't see this. TNA don't see this shit. Yeah, but even if we lose, just being seen on TNA on WWE program is going to put more eyes on us. When? Because your fucking ratings is flip-flopping. You got no more fucking subscribers, monthly subscribers for your TNA Plus, and your fucking pay-per-view numbers, your buy rates aren't going up in your pay-per-views. And your attendance isn't going up. Your attendance for a pay-per-view is the same attendance that you get for your motherfucking TNA Impact show. The biggest crowd y'all had in a while was the pay-per-view, the last one where Jordan Grace was there. And I think they had like 3,000 people or something like that, or 3,500, something to that effect. And that's the biggest crowd y'all had since then. And then for some reason, y'all had Bradshaw come out like 3 or 4 times, and he comes out to the ring, clothesline somebody, and disappear. What was that about? Oh, like Triple H said, storylines don't have to make sense. Because everybody thought that was leading to something. Okay, Bradshaw is now a part of the roster, right? Nope. Just come out and clothesline people and leave. For what? Well, see, wrestling is about moments. See, again, trying that fucking WWE format. No, he's not a part of your roster. He's not wrestling for your company. He just comes out, he clotheslines people, and he leaves. Make that make sense. So what's the storyline? There is no storyline. It's just incidents that happen. It's just moments. You see what I'm talking about? TNA, this isn't your style. You're not good at it. WWE is sucking at it. This has never been what you guys were about. And if you're going to make a change for the better. Man, you motherfuckers, oh man, truthfully, TNA is better than AEW. I'm like, yo, if you really want to make me laugh, say that shit again. Better than what? In all honesty, I'd rather watch somebody sit and play a wrestling video game than to seriously watch a fucking episode of fucking TNA right now. TNA is falling off, man. And I make several videos about TNA because hey, listen, man, I'm just bringing awareness. I hope these motherfuckers, something needs to happen where somebody can wake these fucking people up. They are lost and don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. Simple. If anything that you should be focused on, how do we keep the audience? Because let's be real. If you're going to sit here and make a taping for Explosion, does it really make sense when you have 75% of the fucking building empty? You really could really. You really could say 80%. Anytime that camera only shows the entrance and that one little overhead section where it's trying to cut out the fact that the people stop right here because all the way over here is empty, and they try to, bottom line, they try to get closer to the ring so you won't notice that the building is empty, but you see it's always, bottom line. And no matter how loud the crowd try to get, it's like 10 people out in the audience there. It's just like, So, I mean, this is what you're depending on. They're not depending on anything that they can do to improve TNA. They're depending on the appearances of WWE wrestlers. And to show you how fucking dumb you are, NXT is a brand that can't get 1 million fucking views. So they don't get 2 million, 3 million. So what the fuck is it? They're not even growing. So how is that coming to your show helping you grow? End of the day, y'all. This is what TNA has done and the hole that they've dug for themselves. They got people claiming they love TNA, but they're not even watching TNA. They're watching highlights. And they're sitting here only watching just to see what's going to happen. Who's going to win between Trick Williams and Joe Hendry or whatever. Masha Slamovich, she sucks right now, man, because TNA has nothing for her. And as good as Masha is, it doesn't even fucking matter, man. She has no charisma. She has no character. There's nothing about her, man. At least when she was talking with that Russian accent, at least when she was coming out and she kept, getting in the face of Jordan Grace and showing that she had no fear of her. People was into her like, okay, yeah, she's out, she's here. She's not playing. Nobody even cares about Masha Slamovich. In fact, nobody talks about her if she's the knockout champion. Nobody talks about Moose. He's the X Division champion. Okay? Nobody's talking about nothing that they're doing. Just whatever NXT guys are doing. That's it. That's what these people care about. And TNA's audience are confused as fuck. They don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be cheering for. What's going on here? They don't even know what's going on. Hey guys. Wow. I wish one day I'll probably go get and just show you all these DVDs I bought of TNA, all their pay-per-views, everything. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. Because when I watch this shit and I look at it now, it just make me shake my head. Like, wow, how the fuck did we get to this point? Greed and trying to chase money to the point where you become complacent with what you was doing, and it wasn't really getting you any more attention. It wasn't getting any more eyes on your fucking product. No more extra money, nothing. And then two, you got to the point where you didn't know what else to do. You look at the history. As long as Anthem Sports has taken over and been there with them, and they look at everything and what else can we do? They don't have ideas. They don't have good creators. They don't have any real creativity. It's just, let's just put people in the ring, have a match, and nothing happens. Steve Maclin is probably the hardest worker right now. And Steve Maclin is getting very little fucking notoriety. And he's their international champion they have. Nice blue belt. Love the belt. Steve Maclin has it. And nobody's talking about Steve Maclin. And since Joe Hendry went down, nobody's talking about Average Joe. The most person being talked about on your fucking show is a guy that's not even signed to your roster, and that's Trick Williams. And you guys don't realize how fucking stupid you look. Wow. That's all I got for you guys right now. Catch you guys on the next video.